let me start by asking you, where's your money going? Because if you don't know where your money is going, how are you even going to know where to start? You're watching videos on financial literacy, personal finances, maybe eventually investing. That is a problem though, because you need to know where everything is going. You need to see everything. We've talked about a spreadsheet before, not because it's all fancy, but because it puts your entire financial life all right here. Like you're forced to look at it, put in the numbers. All right, here's how much I make. Here's how much is in the spending account, savings, if I got any stocks. Here's all of my bills, each individually listed with the dates. Here's all my bills, how much I spend every month. Here's all my debt. You're able to see all of this, and then you're just kind of like forced to familiarize yourself with it. And then, I mean, we built one of these, a super simple one together, just to kind of get you started. You could get as fancy as you want. I kind of ended out here. This is probably an eyesore to everybody. It's just, I'm so used to seeing this screen just because this is what works for me. Use what works for you, but like I said, prior video in the playlist, go check it out. We build this together. But once you have the spreadsheet in place, you're able to see all of this. And it's not about perfection, rather being able to visibly see it. Once everything is visible, priorities then become obvious. And we want to set ourselves up to win here. So most people, I mean, they're along the lines of wanting the same few things. The first one, they want to save money. They want the dollars. The second is they want debt, but no, they don't want debt. People want to get out of debt. And then the third thing, they want to own things that actually help them long term. So let's just say they want to own assets. So I'm a simple man. I want to save money. I don't want to be in debt and I want to own things. But I mean, starting off, you can't chase all three of these things. There's that saying, you chase all three rabbits, you're going to end up a hungry man tonight because you're not going to catch either one of them. So start, I mean, with the obvious priority right here. Let's start at step one. You start by becoming the type of person who does that. You become a saver. And savers, they're a certain type of person. It starts with your actions in place. So what you do, how you spend your money decisively. Savers also have systems in place. So that could be a system like this spreadsheet right here that we've talked about, or even just having like a budget or some form of knowing your finances. And they also have what's called, and this one's huge, awareness. They're aware when they spend money. Now every time like you start saving and becoming this type of person, every single time you choose to save, that's like a super small vote that you're using to eventually like throw into a bucket and fill the bucket up with little small votes. One day it's going to be like full of them, to build towards that identity we're trying to build. Enough of those votes, and eventually saving becomes this normal thing. Habit unlocked. Level up. Level up, level up, level up. So that's the first goal here. The first goal would be, so a saver would have what's called savings in the form of an emergency fund. So we want to have a fund of savings. And this is really important. You want to honestly cancel everything if you don't have one of these in place. Anything that's not mandatory. We want to get in shape first. And this is a super temporary time. It's as temporary as you want it to be. We're not going to talk about like making money and I got all this certain lifestyle that I got to fund. Remember, your goals, your circumstances, and all of that you consider. But we're looking to build here. So this emergency fund, we're looking to build this to 3 to 6 months of core expenses saved up. Really 12 months if you can. But remember, we keep on building, but really the first threshold would fall here. And wherever you end up on this, it's up to you. But build this, cut back, like I said. Don't make it hard, like set yourself up to win and don't overthink it. Cut back hard on everything else. Again, this is temporary. Now, once the pressure drops and decisions get easier, your back's not literally financially against the wall. And from that point on, it's just more so about discipline, continuing to be this saver, this type of person. And then the next thing they do is focus on debt. So it just falls in place. But before we get into that, let's talk about where we really place this emergency fund. So there's different types of accounts. Um, we'll talk about a few of those here where emergency funds should actually live. Now, this is all in my opinion, verify everything. All savings accounts aren't created equal, is how I'll put it. But when it comes to emergency funds, some of the accounts I've found appropriate for these emergency funds, it's based on a few fundamentals that matter. You really want these accounts to have liquidity. You want them to be safe because you don't want to lose your nest egg pretty much. And you want a reasonable return. Like, we're not trying to get rich off of these, but a reasonable return. The money needs to be available. It's not meant to be touched often, but when you need it quickly. So that's kind of what these accounts I'm about to talk about. What's the word I'm looking for? Have, I guess, in a way. So there are risks to consider too, though, like inflation. That's why, like, you want some type of return. Cash still sitting loses purchasing power over time due to inflation, and inflation's been a concern with the Fed if you've been watching any of my market update videos. But that's why earning at least something matters, even on these emergency savings. So today, here's the first type of account. So here we'll do this. The first type is a HYSA. That's a high yield savings account. And this could fall in the form of anywhere between 3 to 4% right now. This is annually. They could have minimums, like minimum amounts of money you got to put into the account to even open this type of account. These rates could change over time. But the trade off is accessibility because your money is ready to go. Like, you could walk into your bank and withdraw this. There might be withdrawal limits, but remember, this is your emergency fund. This is usually the default type of account for most savers if you're going to try to identify as a saver going forward. Another option, and this is for more, I'd say this is a little bit more complex, but this is a CD, a certificate of deposit. And these you lock in a rate because we talked about how these high yield savings accounts rates almost vary. So they're variable. They don't like change every week or anything, but they do change. They could go up or down. And then with these CDs, you could find pretty much the same rate, about 3 to 4% annually. But the big sell on these CDs is that it's fixed. You're locking in that rate for a period of time. But the downside with this is that you're actually locking in your money. Now, let's say you need to pull it out early because an emergency happened. Remember, we're not it's expecting an emergency to happen, like, and it's an emergency. We're just saving for it. But some people, like, you'll get a penalty if you pull this CD fund out early since it's locked in. But some people get around that by doing one of two things. So they may stagger the CDs. So pretty much what this means is they might get a CD that's, say, 7 months out. They might get a CD that's 3 months out, and they might get another CD that's 12 months out. That way you got one renewing in 3 months, 7 months, 12 months. So it's available at different points. Now, CDs, they typically have a higher minimum amount threshold as well. So it just kind of depends on where you're at financially. But that's one way. Stagger them, different maturity dates. Then, what other people do, or a combination of both, is they'll have a lock to it. So whenever you see lock in finances and like banking or a credit union talk, Lock is line of credit. So a CD secured line of credit is an option if you have a CD. It's pretty much a line of credit secured against the CD. So technically, you're able to borrow against that money without actually having to pull it out, get penalized. So check out your banks and your bank and find out if they have either a high yield savings account or CDs and check out the rates. Here are the rates that are normal right now in January starting off 2026. I'm here in Oklahoma. But like I said, don't go off trying to get rich off of these funds because they are for protection. And if you're dipping into them often, that signals that there's probably another concern we need to get back to. Are you really sticking to what you normally expect to spend money on, like stuff that actually matters, your housing expenses, possible car payment, you got to eat, you need a phone, to an extent like you don't even need Spotify, like cancel that. Listen to the free version with the ads. Like we're trying to get our lives together, y'all. So, like I said, don't dip into these savings. If you are, get back and look at the spreadsheet, but really once this emergency fund's built, and we got to the goal of 3 to 6 months of expenses. We're still building towards the 12 months, but the goal was 3 to 6. Now it makes more sense to kind of shift focus. So now what we're going to work on doing is stabilizing even further. So that is getting out of debt. So we're going to keep on going. We're going to keep on going. And what we want to do is get rid of debt because debt is bad in a lot of cases. There are some good forms of debt. We'll talk about those in future videos. That's another reason to subscribe. But this is where I like strategically going to zero. So, really, we're doing this, and I talk about this a lot, but we're pretty much doing this through the whole process because first, we're strategically going to zero to get this emergency fund in place because then we can identify as a saver because now we have saved funds and we got to have it in place. We're looking at the spreadsheet. Now we're strategically going. I can't spell going. That looks like an E. To zero dollar wise. So that's in our spending account we mentioned. So in our main bank account where all of our bills and stuff comes in, where we're most likely to go like spend on this want type of purchase, that's where we go get rid of this money and kind of like hide it from ourselves in places we're less likely to borrow from. Because it sucks when we got to pull our money down and, oh man, I had that imaginary number in my account. Now I only got this number in here. So then our financial position just changed. Our months saved up, that number went down. Now our savings account balance came down, our total assets came down. So it just kind of like unravels itself. But you want to strategically go to zero and try to get rid of as much as you can. Like if you got a MacBook loan and now you got like this monthly expense that comes because like when you get a loan, you got the monthly bill, so it shows up in total bills. What if you got rid of the MacBook loan and you got rid of the bill? So now you're saving on two different ends and you're cleaning up your credit while lowering your fixed costs. Now your cash flow improves. So once debt is gone, it's gone. Just try to stay out of debt. Like I said, there are good forms of debt. There are many more bad forms of debt out there that exist. But, anyways, now you're in a completely different position. You've got a buffer built up, you've got reduced fixed expenses, you've trained yourself to have this system and this willpower. So, at this stage, I mean, it's pretty easy. Like, you've already developed this habit, you've become a saver. And one more thing that savers do once they got all of their pillars in place, and this one's a super simple one. Save 10% of everything. And this is their rule. Automate this, make it as easy as possible. Where you already said yes, it's being done in the background. Set yourself up to win. And this is usually where people get to talking, all right, I'm here now. I got this in place. How can I take on more risk and get better return? Focus on investing or growing, returns beyond savings. That, ladies and gents, that is a whole nother conversation. And we're going to talk about that here in another playlist. Right now, we're focused on saving. So, should I see you there?